Good evening. I'd like to bring the November Campbell County School Board meeting to order. We're going to start with a Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence, and I would just like to ask everybody to remember our UVA community. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay. We're going to start with a presentation on digital citizenship. Mr. Hudson.
Dr. Miller, board, Dr. Johnson. Evening. All right, I think we're good. All right, so I wanted to go ahead and present to everyone what we're doing with digital citizenship in the county and show you kind of what we've got kind of lined up for K-12 for the program. Digital citizenship is a word that you hear a lot of. This picture here shows you that it incorporates a lot of different things. It's not just safety, but it's also respect and learning how to become a citizen and be respectful in things that are important as you navigate the digital realm. So not only is it safety, it's the ability to be able to learn and create and participate as a citizen in this digital world that we all have, all of our children and everyone's living in now. And that's something important that we need to kind of point through and navigate with our students with. So again, not only is it the safety, but this continuum that goes on that shows students how to navigate, create, and truly develop 21st century learning skills. Skills that are in demand and high demand. That's also part of digital citizenship as well. So like I said, everyone has heard digital citizenship before, but how do you create a culture for that? How do you get people to buy in? How do you get students talking about that? How do you get your staff talking about that? And I want to kind of show you what we've kind of started here. October is Cyber Security Awareness and Digital Citizenship Month. We sent out on our Facebook post letting people know, making them aware of the digital citizenship program that we have, making people, giving some links also to parents on here. We've also started a newsletter for our staff, and we're going to continue to do that, that has resources and that kind of topics that have to do with digital citizenship. We're going to continue those as well to be sent to our staff as well, so we have started that. November the 7th, we had a PD day. We had the K-12 media specialists come in. We had the ITRT, the technology team, meet with them and to go over some resources for digital citizenship here at Yellow Branch, just across the way here, and helping to train them and show them some of the things that can help out their students and navigate the digital world. We're continuing to use Common Sense Media. We have used that in the past. It's a program that has a lot of lessons, a lot of resources. It has not just digital citizenship in the sense of in the classroom. It talks about all kinds of media, whether it's games, it rates them, kind of gives you some feedback on those. A lot of good resources for parents. So the idea of creating a culture is using this Common Sense Media. We want to create a theme. We picked 6 themes that we think are important, and we want to kind of roll through those themes throughout the year and to continue to communicate and send emails, newsletters, Facebook posts on those themes as they come up to keep the community and all stakeholders informed on that. With the media specialist K-5, they will be the point in elementary, helping to deliver these lessons. They'll also, for the secondary media specialists, they will be point, but however, the teachers, 6 through 12, will be the ones that actually deliver this. And it'll be specific on, depending on your school, it could be their first block or if it's a middle school, an English class, because they have English all the way throughout. And the idea is to touch on these topics at least once a month with the students. And then to continue to teacher model good digital citizenship and what that looks like in the classroom. And then again, to repeat that for another theme that goes through for the following month. So the 6 themes that we picked, there's many that are on Common Sense Media. The ones that we picked are media and balance, trying to find a balance with your media that you're using and consuming. Another one that we picked is digital privacy, learning how to navigate privacy, whether it's passwords and stuff that students and parents encounter every day with that. And also your digital footprint, and teaching the importance that, you know, what you post online is there. It's going to be there, and teaching the importance of thinking twice about what you post, and being aware of what's going on in your social media post or what you're posting to your peers. Relationships and communications goes along with that, how to communicate in a digital world. Cyberbullying, this talks about some of the things that a lot of our students can encounter throughout their time on media. And then also becoming a critical thinker is learning how to sort through all of the mess that you can sometimes get back when you're searching topics. So with those, we have compiled for our teachers a website the technology department has with those topics. And what we've done is put in some lessons in there from K through 12. And it's all the same theme, but it's the idea of it's age appropriate based on what that theme is. This is a resource that we gave with the media specialists and also with our teachers. We've also compiled a parent website that's on the county website. And we've added a tab on here for digital citizenship. And you can go on there, and for our parents as a resource, it's those same themes, but this time it's geared towards family tips and family activities can be done that are on our county website. So give you kind of an example of what some of these lessons look like. This is a 3rd grade lesson. It's talking about the importance of your password, keeping your password, that kind of thing private, not giving out your passwords to other people. Oops, sorry. Learning how to start with a phrase, don't give your password to people, never put any private information in a password, and learning to use symbols. So these are things that can build out. This is stuff that everyone uses every day, and it's kind of starting young. This is a 3rd grade lesson here. There's a 7th grade lesson that has a student that is looking for a job. It shows a difference in how people have different accounts and different posts. This has a picture of a young lady that's looking for a job. It has her Instagram post, and she has one image that she's portraying there. And then when she's trying for a food blog, she has a completely different image, and even goes on here and says, I thought you didn't even like cooking. Why are you trying this? So it shows this stuff. It brings awareness of what you're putting on there is out there. How are you portraying yourself? And just to get students kind of talking about that and understanding what that looks like. Here's another one that is for 11th grade. This is for cyberbullying. Has the definition of cyberbullying, and it has Millie Bobby Brown, who is on Stranger Things. She's a star for the Netflix series there, and this is someone that students could relate to, that they understand or they know these people. And she talks about how she was attacked on Twitter, and she actually quit Twitter because of some of the attacks and some of the bullying that she had on there. So I think it helps to draw that connection when there's people on there that they can relate to, or at least people that they know with this. So it kind of gives you an idea of what it looks like and trying to create a culture. I think it's good to get kids talking about this kind of thing and bring some type of awareness and some type of consistency with this. All right? Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions from the board?
How long have y'all been doing this program, the cyberbully program?
This format, this is the first year. We use digital Common Sense Media before in the past, but this is the first time we've actually like picked out themes and gone
Okay.
this way with it.
All right.
Any other questions or comments?
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mark.
Yep. All right, our next presentation is from Dr. Stanley on professional development.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the board, and I want to thank Mark and his technology team for all the work they've done there. You know, we kind of got forced into the one-to-one initiative with COVID and putting a computer in every kid's hand, but, you know, we've always said, we're teaching digital citizenship, but we need to come up with a formalized way of doing it where teachers know what they're teaching, we know what kids are learning, and parents have an opportunity to say, hey, you know, you've got this computer at home, and, you know, I can help you now be a better user, a more responsible user. So that's really the whole point of digital citizenship. Because as you know, the computer is a powerful tool and it opens up a lot of doors. And we've got great filters, but there also takes a certain level of personal responsibility. And we've got to teach kids how to do that responsibly. So thank you, Mark, and putting all that together and making it available. So as you know, September 30th and November 7th of this year, we had professional development days, kind of professional development half a day, and then we saved the other half of the day for teachers to be able to go back and work in their classrooms. That professional development gave us an opportunity to work with mentors and kind of cast that vision for what we want our mentors to do with new teachers. It also gave us a chance to work with our media specialist on digital citizenship. It gave our teachers an opportunity to come together, look at and have conversations about what teaching practices they're seeing that are working best, and to talk about, you know, their kids' progress. And so I think they really appreciated that. We've got a few pictures and a brief presentation to show you based on that. Thank you, Tracy. So again, we think we had two real successful days. I was thankful that our staff was able to provide an opportunity for every teacher. Our band directors had a chance to come together and collaborate. Our chorus teachers got a chance to come together and collaborate. And in a lot of cases, they're the only teacher in the division, really, or in their buildings doing what they do. So when they get that time together, especially new teachers, and, you know, we've got a lot of young teachers who haven't had this opportunity in 2 to 3 years, and so they really appreciate it. So thank you for the opportunity. If you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
Questions?
You normally do it 2 times a year?
We don't do it 2 times a year. I mean, we have a few days at the beginning of the year before kids come back and teachers under contract that we do something. And then we've got these 2 days that we've also put into next year's calendar. And then we do our Teacher Learning Academy at the end of the year. So, you know, we do as much as we can because we see the need for it.
But that's usually 100% participation, that's required.
Yes, yes, that's right.
But you have ongoing teacher mentor.
20 days.
Correct.
Yeah, that's ongoing all year, correct?
And there's some things that we can do after school. There are times where we feel like we need to get teachers together to do something after school, and if it's after hours, we might pay them a stipend. And there's some times where we feel the need that, you know, and if subs are available to pull them here to the tech center and do something during the day, but we don't do that very often because subs are hard to come by and kids need their teachers in the classroom.
Sounds good.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Stanley. Okay, so matters from the floor. We have several speakers tonight. Yeah, so all right. All right, so at this time, the board will hear matters from the floor. Each speaker will have 3 minutes to speak. Please be respectful of the 3-minute time limit. And prior to speaking, please state your name and address. Comments must be directed to the board and not to staff, the audience, or the media. And our first speaker is Mr. Gifford.
Hello, I'm David Gifford, 285 Beasley Road, Lynchburg address, but I live in Campbell County. I recently saw a sign in one of our schools, something to the effect of always be learning, an admirable goal for all educational institutions and one to which I wholeheartedly agree, as long as one is teaching and learning the truth, not falsehoods. Truthful instruction is a right that both parents and taxpayers share. If we are deceiving children, we are of all people most to be pitied. I was recently subbing in one of our schools, and the lesson plans directed me to play Simon Says with the children if there was any time left after the movie. When the movie was finished, we had between 10 and 15 minutes, so I wanted to make sure that Simon Says was not just a game for fun, but a fun game that is also educational. I started by asking the students this question: what do we learn from playing Simon Says? The response was shocking in 2 ways. First, they all took this question very seriously. They admitted that they did not know, and then they asked me to tell them. This caught me off guard, and so I offered the best thing I could imagine. I explained, Simon Says teaches us the importance of knowing which authority to obey. If our parents tell us to do something, that is like a Simon Says. It is something we should do. However, if a stranger tells us to do something, we should first talk about it with our parents. Or if our teacher tells us to do something, that is like a Simon Says. We should do it, but we should not listen to other students if they tell us to do something against what the teacher says. They were all very satisfied with this, but the second shock came from a girl in kindergarten. She politely raised her hand, and when I called on her, she only said one thing: Simon Says, obey God. That's what she said to me. Here's an example of student-led religion that I pass on to you tonight. On to another matter. In the last month or so, I've had the opportunity of witnessing 2 competing interests in Campbell County schools. First, I was able to make a proposal to the county about the Bible as literature electives in high school. The proposal was generally accepted, but the concern was about money. Could the county afford to offer English electives that might not lead students into getting jobs in that field. I actually like this line of thinking because I do believe that education should have a practical result. Sometimes, however, monetary results are hard to identify. Admittedly, the Bible is only the most well-read book in the world and the book that has the greatest impact on Western civilization, Western history, and Western literature. We study many other events that have had a lesser impact on our society, and so let's remember that biblical illiteracy is not in the interests of Campbell County. Anyway, I don't have time to read the last paragraph, but I had the opportunity this last month to see impacts of Halloween in public schools. Children coming in dressed up as devils, ghosts, witches, werewolves, and vampires. That's all I can say. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Gifford. Ms. Mendez?
Hi, good evening. My name is Jacqueline Mendez. I'm a resident of Evington, Virginia, and a member of Moms for Liberty. Mr. Apperson, in response to my correspondence with you regarding SEL, data collection, and curriculum, you indicated policy requires that schools to teach character education. To your understanding, the data collection now being used in schools is to determine school readiness for pre-K and kindergarten learners. The Virginia Kindergarten Readiness Program, which you explained to me, the VKRP, is a pilot program, aims at developing longitudinal measures of mathematics, self-regulation, social skills, and mental health for children aged 3 through kindergarten. At the conclusion of the pilot, VKRP will report out what they have learned. Schools are now centers for data collection of mental health observations to document children's development. This is a red flag, and parents should take notice. Mr. Apperson, how is Character Strong data collection being used to format interventions and programs for all school children in the county? As you may or may not know, data is the gasoline for social emotional learning. Data is being used to implement and decide what level of intervention is required. We have a Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3 are multi-tiered systems of support, otherwise known as MTSS, and equity is deeply embedded in MTSS. So education equity means that each student gets everything they need to succeed. Let's not kid ourselves by dismissing concerns of parents and community members of these actions. Equity is used to justify equal for all. Perhaps you may want to address to this audience, since equity, diversity, and inclusion is sorely lacking on this board. So the practice of data-based decision-making using a multi-tiered approach recommended by SEL programs supposedly supports the reduction of bias in schools. By interpreting data, educators can uncover disparities in interventions provided based on race, ethnicity, or other student group identifiers that could lead to over-referrals for discipline or special education. You stated that Character Strong was identified and reviewed by the staff and determined to be effective as teaching character traits. Is this not the responsibility of this board to review and select programs and not the teachers? Again, you mentioned staff was asked if CS curriculum taught divisive concepts as mentioned in the video I sent you. You said no. So do you think teachers are going to reveal their dislikes to these programs? Really? So our goal as citizens of Campbell County is to raise awareness to this and help families and parents and concerned citizens understand how best to advocate and fight back so that we can restore education and we can protect our children. And Moms for Liberty is committed to uphold and promote parental rights. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Coleman.
Good evening. I'm Crystal Coleman from Alta Vista. Since you continue to want people to believe there's nothing to see here, I thought we'd play school library show and tell. And I'll start out with this book, Stamped, as everyone can see, by Jason Reynolds and Ibram X. Kendi. Well, Jason Reynolds was named honorary chair of the 2021 Banned Books Week. Ibram X. Kendi is a proponent of the belief that America is structured around racism and white supremacy, and wholeheartedly supports the 1619 Project. He's a supporter of the theologian Jeremiah Wright, who is famous for his sermon saying, not God bless America, God damn America. Both of these authors of your school library book contributed to new books based on the 1619 Project, which you said we were not going to have anything to do with in your resolution in May. This book repeatedly states it's not a history book, but all throughout it manipulates isolated pieces to force the reader to look through only one lens, that of Ibram X. Kendi, and that is that race has always been used to gain and keep power, to keep the ball of white and rich privilege rolling. He refers to blacks that want to assimilate into society as cowards. Being colorblind is not good enough and should be seen as false rhetoric. Also, slamming anyone who believed that those who attacked us on 9/11 were terrorists. This county adopted a resolution condemning exactly that. Then we have the triple package. Since the 1960s, and as quoted in this book, America's official racial mantra has been equality. You can criticize America's ideal of equality as unfulfilled. Some might even call it hypocritical. But its premises are clear and noble. All individuals are equal. Every race is equal. Every group is just as good as every other. But the dirty secret is that the groups enjoying disproportionate success in America do not tell themselves we're as good as other people. They tell themselves they're better. Next quote. It's one thing for a group with a long-standing superiority complex to pledge allegiance to the idea of universal equality. After all, a group's silent belief in its own superiority isn't fundamentally altered by this declaration. Indeed, as they proclaim the equality of all mankind, members of such a group can pride themselves on their generosity and open-mindedness, showing just how superior they really are. It goes on to slam Jews, Chinese, Mormons, Cubans, you name it. Parents in this group are also accused and belittled for seeing childhood as a time of investment, training, and preparation for the future. They are accused of causing children to feel a sense of indebtedness to their parents, claiming that such children believe that their privilege came at a great cost to their parents. This is the rant of those who believe that a good work ethic, hard work, and merit are racist, white supremacist ideals.
Thank you, Ms.
These
Coleman.
two books are in direct violation to the resolution that you passed in May.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Doug Behringer.
Gum on your shoe, we won't go away. Before I start, I just wanted to commend Tracy Dobbins and you people for making her the voice of the Campbell County when we call. She's very professional, very cordial. I always enjoy our conversations, and I just wanted to commend you for putting her out front. She's awesome. Okay.
Thank you.
Last year, you started providing links to some informational documents on the agenda published online. We thanked you then, I thank you still. However, I think we could still do better, and we'll offer a couple examples. Item 5 on the agenda is payment of bills, but there is no itemized statement of what is being paid for or how much is being paid. Such a statement could easily be linked to the agenda item. Surely we, the people, are entitled to see exactly where our federal, state, and local tax dollars are going. The same applies to item 6C. This brings me to item 6D, first reading of proposed policy revisions. This item actually has a link to a document, but it is not very useful in its present form. This document refers to policy updates, specifically Policy 2A, instructional materials, and Policy 2AB, supplementary material selection and adoption. Both of these topics have come under considerable public scrutiny over the past year, but the linked document provides very little insight into what the policies are, which policies are being updated or how they are being changed. For example, the description for Policy 2A identifies the Virginia Code section and the Senate bill that necessitated the update and development of model policies. It does not include the actual code, the Senate bill, or the policies that are being updated. Instead, it sends us, we the people, on quite a paper chase if we want to find out what is being discussed. By contrast, I have to believe that your staff provides all of this information to our representatives on the board, so they don't have to embark on the same paper chase. I would just propose that a link to all of this information that's collated and organized and tells everything that's being covered, as well as the reasons, be linked to the agenda instead of the cryptic document that is currently linked. Finally, it would be most welcome if this board would conduct more open public discussion during your meetings. Motions are made and votes are cast in open session, but with very little discussion and very few questions asked. One cannot help but wonder whether such discussion does occur, but outside of the meetings, perhaps via one-on-one conversation. While meetings are certainly shorter when not encumbered by public discussion, doing so does not promote an appearance of transparency and openness. I urge you to conduct more public discussion and even an occasional debate, and, gosh forbid, a few dissenting votes. And I have a couple seconds. Just one question. How does a citizen get an item placed on the agenda? What is the procedure for doing that? And you can answer that later if you'd like, but I made a few suggestions last meeting. I probably needed to send that to you guys, but if there's a procedure for that, would you please let us know what that is? Can citizens actually request items to be on the agenda? Thank you.
Okay. So that, start with our business meeting, and our first item is payment of the bills. I'd entertain a motion.
Approve the minutes.
How about the minutes?
I apologize. First is the minutes, approval of the minutes.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the minutes of the October 10th, 2022 meeting.
Second.
Any questions about the minutes from last month? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, that one carries. Now for payment of the bills.
Mr. Chairman, I move we pay the bills insofar as funds permit.
Second.
Any question on bills? All right, I've asked for all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Ms. Planahan, donations.
Tonight you have 9 donations that were listed in advance of the meeting on board docs. Unless you have any questions, I ask that you approve them as presented.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion is second. Any questions about the donations? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Consideration of non-resident tuition.
Tonight also you have 9 applicants for non-resident tuition students. Unless you have any questions, I ask that you approve that.
Motion.
Second.
A motion is second. Any questions about our non-resident students? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Consideration of request for supplemental transfer of appropriations.
Tonight you have 2 supplemental appropriations for approval. Unless you have any questions, I ask that you approve them as presented.
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion is in a second. Any questions? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Mr. Sisk, we have a first reading of proposed policy.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Dr. Johnson. Tonight I have two policies before you, policy IIA and policy IIAB. As we heard just a few minutes ago, of course, Virginia code requires that we adopt a policy or a change in our policies to address any material that is considered sexually explicit instructional content. We knew this has been out for quite a while, but we've been waiting on the actual details from Virginia School Boards Association after their attorneys looked at it to see what the policy is. As you can tell by looking at the policy, IIA, it is almost it's almost the law, word for word. They've pretty much taken the definitions that were changed in the law and placed them in the policy. So it's pretty straightforward. Didn't see a whole lot of language or any language actually that changed anything in the definitions or how we would be required to do that. And I'm sure there are questions if there
Any questions for Mr. Sisk?
are. Okay, I'll look forward.
Yeah. You're out of order.
Point of order, sir. This school board, per school policy, is dictated to have to provide complete information on policies that are being brought up, in fact, on anything on your agenda, well ahead of time for the public to know and to review.
It was available last week, I have it
It
right
was
here.
not available
I printed
until
this on
Friday
Wednesday.
morning when I called.
You're out of order, Ms. Coleman.
Completely
You're
I
out,
told the office Friday
you're out of
morning
order.
you
Ms.
were not
Coleman?
available. Well, can you
Could have
guess
mentioned that in
why?
your comments.
Tracy will tell you that I called Friday morning
Thank you.
and it was not available.
Thank you.
So I don't know how you can have a first reading. And there are no policies.
Ms. Coleman? All right. Ms. Hunley, personnel report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. You have the personnel report in front of you. We are fully staffed, certified-wise. We do have our normal amount of classified openings with a little bit of turnover there, but we're in really good shape with our class or certified staff right now. So unless you have any other questions, I'd ask that you approve it as written.
I have one question.
Sure.
As far as transportation,
That's my question.
how, looking for any additional help?
Dr. Reynolds?
Yeah, excuse me, yes, sir. Still looking for about 5 full-time drivers, 4 part-time, and 3 special education driver aides.
I have 4 and 3.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Starting a new class tomorrow, new training class, been a training class. Those folks just went to DMV about 2 weeks ago and finished up and passed all their DMV and federal requirements, so we've added 1 full-time and 2 part-time folks just last week, and we started another class.
How many is in this class?
Sir,
How many is in this class?
right now, 2. The
No.
previous one had 3.
Okay.
How long is the class?
They have to do 20 hours of actual curriculum, and then they have to do range time, road time. All in all, we get through about 45 hours before they're cut loose.
Okay.
And that includes going to DMV,
They didn't get no.
going through those steps as well, beyond what we're doing.
Now, do you have to take them to Roanoke for the DMV part? I know tractor trailer drivers you do.
Boston, but sometimes we do go to Roanoke. Yes, sir. It's either one. Depends on what the availability is of the individual that's training them.
Now, I was told, does the driver ride with the bus driver, or do they follow behind the bus?
No, they go with the bus driver.
Okay. All right, thank you.
You're talking about, Mr. Baxter, to the DMV site?
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
okay. That's where they used to do it.
Yeah, yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions regarding personnel?
If it's not, I'll make a motion to approve the personnel report.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Ms. Hunter. Dr. Stanley?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Tonight I bring before you the first, I guess, a draft proposal of next year's academic calendar for 2023-24, believe it or not. If you look at that calendar, you'll see that we're going to have our open house on August the 9th, and then we have our pre-K, kindergarten, 6th and 9th grade orientation scheduled for the 15th, with the first day of school scheduled for August 16th. Like this year's calendar, we've got 2 days that we put in for professional development / work day. That's September 29th and November 6th, the day before Election Day. We still have a fall break. That's October 20th and the 23rd, and that coincides with the end of the first 9 weeks. We have 3 days for Thanksgiving in November, and then we are just shy of 2 weeks for Christmas break. We've got the 15th of January is Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and then the 16th we have a teacher work day. That's an unencumbered teacher work day because really that's the middle of the semesters. And if you remember when you're in a block schedule, that's when your schedules are all changing for the high schools. So we let that be an unencumbered work day for teachers. And then we've got President's Day in February, spring break in April 1st through the 5th, Memorial Day the 27th of May, and then the last day of school, May 30th. Graduations will be determined once we schedule that with the the Liberty University,
Weather permitting.
weather permitting.
Looks good.
Calendar is very similar to this year, so if you got questions, I'll be glad to answer them. Otherwise, we'll look to next month for approval. If you got any questions between now and then, feel free to give me a call.
Anybody have any questions right now?
Only thing I see is from January 17th to, it was a pretty long draw there in the wintertime with no,
Counting on some snow.
well, yeah, I guess.
Spring break.
Yeah,
It is, I would
optimistic.
say that's also your weather season, so.
But there's 2, 4. It's good.
All right. Good?
Good.
Thank you, Dr. Stanley.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Matters from the board. Excuse me. Oh, not doing very good tonight.
I just have a
Yeah.
couple things to go
For
over. First,
superintendent,
if you
yeah.
recall, the FY '23 adopted budget included state and local fiscal recovery funds from the Federal American Rescue Plan, or ARPA, of 21, and it was to support a one-time pandemic bonus payment to instructional and support staff positions. Just wanted to report that, that will be in the November payroll that goes out in a few weeks, and it is $1,000 and we did not differentiate between part-time and full-time
Good.
this time.
Wow.
And and I guess probably in December, those funds will come, Michelle, and you'll see a supplemental appropriation to put those in. But it was part of the '23 budget. So I just wanted you to know that we're going to roll that out in the payroll end of November.
Great.
Okay. And just a couple of updates. In regards to the policy that you saw tonight, we have been meeting on those professional development days with our media specialists to talk about making sure they knew all the policies that were in place to review materials that came in. Also about the new policy, we've been meeting with principals, teachers, and then we as a staff have been working on the developing the processes that are referred to in that draft budget and in that draft policy. So there's been a lot of work being done in regards to those matters. And I think we have had in place now since the beginning of school, or very shortly after beginning of school, the parent notification when a child checks out a book, that parent immediately gets an email.
Have we gotten any feedback from any
I've
parents?
I've not heard any. We asked the other day, when everything we've heard has been positive.
Any complaints about material in the libraries?
I've not, we have not had anything challenged, no. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question? We just got a grant for 140-some thousand for school.
School security grant, yes, we
Where
did.
was that from?
So, Dr. Ranella, maybe you can speak, but I think I can, it's going to be a variety of things, replacing some cameras, upgrading, some communication devices. What else? Oh, the big one was the vape detectors. I know our secondary principals are extremely excited about those. I'm anxious to see how effective they will be. But, yeah, so it's a variety of different things that.
Who is it from? State or?
State.
State? Thank you.
Yeah, we've been very fortunate over the last several years to take full advantage of that grant and apply for something about every year and get it. So, yeah.
Good. So what are they, like a carbon monoxide detector type?
Sir?
This vape detector,
I believe so, yes.
yeah. Good.
That's interesting.
Smoking in the boys' room.
Also, in regard to the grants, Dr. Stanley, we were pursuing one with Harvest Outreach. Is that progressing well? Or do
Well, we
have feedback
submitted
on
it.
that?
It was due last week.
We submitted a day early, with a lot of coordination and a lot of work with Harvest. They were great to work with. They stepped up and really helped us write a good, and what we think competitive grant. So we look forward to seeing the results of that soon.
What was the dollar value of that?
We were asking for $1 million a year.
And do we know when that award will be announced?
December.
December. December 30th. Oh, okay.
Any other questions for staff?
Yeah, just any updates? I've been getting the great updates on RMS, but anything to speak of there? Problems or that's not already been mentioned?
Well, so there is still a serious supply chain issue in regards to interior. There are lots of things, but the big holdup right now is interior doors. So the contractor has, they developed a plan to purchase what they call, they're going to be temporary wooden blank doors that are just not finished, that they can install because the new doors are not scheduled, the ones that were spec'd out and everything to come in. They were, now the date is January the 25th for them to come in, but understand that we've been getting new updates on the dates that those materials would come in since last April. So, so right now, we are discussing a possible, if things stay on track, a possible move over that week that we have the MLK day off on Monday and the staff work day on the next day, and then doing some remote days at Rustburg Middle. But again, that's fluid, it's still moving. I'll give you more probably in December as to whether or not we're going to make that date. If we don't have that date, we talk today, there is no really good time after that until spring break.
But it's just the interior doors, all the exterior.
Well,
doors.
if you notice, if you ride by, there's still some boarded up openings. There's still hardware for the storefront door, and some of it's coming in, some of it came in correct. So it's slowly coming in, but yeah, but it's primarily interior doors, but we are having some issues with the hardware on the exterior doors.
So these they're going to put in temporary interior doors?
And they will come back in the summer and replace them with the new ones, with the ones that were spec'd out. These will not be of the same species of wood, color, or anything that we had spec'd in the original design, but it will be some, allow us to get an occupancy permit.
Okay.
But again, that's still up. They're supposed to be here in 2 weeks. We'll see.
Yeah. The temporary.
Yeah.
But other than that, I can tell you that the contractors, you know, they're moving, they're doing everything they can to keep it on track, but it is just a real issue, getting materials.
And I saw we got new, what did we get, new chillers or something on Rustburg High School? On the top, HVAC, new
Yes.
HVAC material?
Yeah, that was a rooftop unit,
Okay.
not a chiller.
Okay. Was it just being
Air handler.
replaced or?
Yes. Yeah, it was died.
Okay. So that's up and running now?
Yes.
Okay. All right, matters from the board. I think we'll start with Mr. Jones.
All right, got a few things. First of all, I think we need to extend appreciation to Mr. Marston for his informative emails and cite things at Rustburg Middle School, because it really keeps us abreast of, you know, the stage. Just the pictures are worth a million words, just seeing, you know, what all's inside the walls. And I mean, I know we're employing him, but I just appreciate, you know, the time and the care he takes in giving us information and the, both photographs and the documentation. Certainly appreciate both presentations tonight, very informative. Again, the donations that were given to the school system is, you know, we truly appreciate them. And at Concord, been a quite busy month at Concord. On October 27th, we hosted our first ever truck or treat and a touch of truck as a family engagement, and had over 1,000 people attend. That's quite a lot in Concord. You can say what you want, but that's a lot of people in Concord. Last week, we hosted our Veterans Day breakfast that was last held in 2019. Following our breakfast, 2 House of Fame assemblies were held in which students were recognized for both academic achievements and work habits in the classroom that incorporate CES pride, being courteous, engaged, and safe, as well as character strong. This month's trait is gratitude, and it's incorporated in daily announcements, morning meetings, and class guidance. And I attended both of those assemblies, and I mean, they make a big, big deal of, you know, character traits, and it's very impressive. It's just, I mean, the kids are well behaved, and they take the character building as an important part of their development, and they're engaged in it. I mean, it's truly inspirational to watch it. This week is American Education Week, and there's a Spirit Week to go alongside it. And she says, we're looking forward to our 4th and 5th grade play, Rats. That's the name of the play, I'm guessing, on December 8th. And then they had a drive to raise money, and she talked about it Friday, but they took a check to the National Center for Healthy Veterans Friday afternoon for a donation of $2,200 from just kids collecting coins and bringing them, and that's quite an achievement for Concord. So a lot of things going on at Concord Elementary School.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Mr. Phillips?
Yeah, so coming up on the holiday season, I know Rustburg Middle School has their winter chorus concert December 8th at 6:30, and I'm going to try to get dates for the high school activities as well. They usually have a choral as well as a band concert, so looking forward to those coming up here in December. Varsity football, we made the regional playoffs at Rustburg for the first time since 2018, so congratulations to that program. And volleyball, the dynasty continues there. They've made the state quarterfinals again for the 5th year in a row, so congratulations to that program as well. Thank you to our speakers tonight, Mr. Hudson, Mrs. Stanley. Appreciated the information there. And that's all I had, Scott.
Thank you.
Yep.
Ms. Parker?
Yes, hello. I just wanted to thank again our staff, honestly, from the SB 656, sexually explicit material, the policy procedures updates today, the media department guide. I can't wait to see that. Excited about that. Everyone's been great to work with. The parent notification's definitely working. My son checks out comic books, but I get a notification at 5 o'clock every day. And he's reading, so I'm just excited. That's my 17-year-old, so I appreciate that because, he might not otherwise tell me, right, that he's checking these books out. So I really appreciate that. To be completely honest with you, I can't even read my notes, the rest of my notes. I'm excited about the $1,000 bonuses, too, to staff. I have been very pleased that teachers are reaching out. I appreciate that when they have feedback and talk to principals or staff, that everybody just works great together. I'm just beyond impressed. I continue to be more impressed every month.
That's good. Thank you. Mr. Epperson?
Yeah, excuse me, just a couple things. Mr. Hudson, Dr. Stanley, thank you for your presentations tonight. It's obvious that a lot of work goes in behind the scenes and things that people don't see every day, and we appreciate the efforts of everyone involved in that. I was able to attend the trunk or treat over at Brookville High School a couple Saturdays ago, back for Halloween, and really a nice time for the special need kids, and I really enjoyed walking around talking to everyone there, and the kids seem to really enjoy it, so I think that's something that really is nice to do every year. I look forward to going. Congratulations to Rustburg and the girls volleyball team making it as far as they did. Congratulations and good luck to the Brookville football team who's playing Heritage Friday night at City Stadium, correct?
Right.
So good luck to those guys. And just the last thing is looking forward to the school board conference this week, and looking forward to a productive week in Weedsburg. That's all I got.
I'd like to thank the staff at Brookville High School for helping Nick Pontius and Amy Witt with the trunk or treat. It's amazing what they put together for the special need kids. I'm gonna tell a little funny on Christine there. The Rustburg High School had their tunnel up. Before we left, the Brookville High School tunnel was there. I don't know how that happened, but it's good to see the high schoolers out helping with this program, and thank y'all for everything you do. That's all.
Sorry I missed that this year. I've been usually there, but I was out of town. But also, thank you, gentlemen, for the presentation you did this evening. Do have a few things from Brookville High School, and on one of them, I'm gonna still probably have Ms. White to help me with one of the names. So, one act team placed third at the Regional 3C Festival this past Saturday with their performance, The Insanity of Mary Gerard. Emily Emanuel tied for the top actor award at the festival. 3 students, Nicholas Torres, Victoria Yancey, and Edwin, thank you, represented Brookville High School at the Senior Regional Orchestra this past Friday. And like Mr. Epperson said, Brookville High School will continue in the playoffs this week on Friday night at 7 o'clock at City Stadium playing Heritage. Good luck to them. And let's see, Rustburg is in the, finals or semifinals of the state? Is that what we said? Quarterfinals. Good luck to Rustburg also.
They already, they lost.
Well, good luck to Rustburg next year.
All right, I don't have much, but just want to thank all the work that continues to be done, and I am glad and happy for the teachers with that bonus. Brookneal Elementary has been doing good, but been suffering with a lot of kids with upper respiratory, and so their attendance is down a little bit. And William Campbell had 4 students in the cross country go to state. I don't know how they did, but I hope they did well. So that's all I have, and we have have to go into a closed session, so at this point, I'd like to ask for a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we convene in a closed meeting for discussion or consideration of disciplinary matters or other matters that would involve the disclosure of information contained in a scholastic record concerning a student in the school division, specifically students 20 and 21 from 2022-2023 school year, in accordance with Section 2.2-3711A2 of the Code of Virginia, 1950 as amended.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we'll take a 5-minute recess and then go into closed session.
I'm just looking. Nothing.
only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements by Virginia law, and only such public business matters as identified in the motion convening the closed meeting were heard, discussed, or considered in the meeting by the school board.
Motion.
Second.
The motion is second. All in favor, please signify saying aye by raising your right hand. Motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept the administration's recommendation on student number 20 as amended, and we accept the administration's recommendations on student number 21 as amended.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries also. Thank you. On that note, I ask for a
Motion adjourned.
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor for adjournment, please say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.
See y'all Wednesday.